For years, I learned 3D completely backwards. I thought the secret was learning every single button in the software. I spent thousands of hours watching tutorials on fluid simulations, complex materials, and lighting settings. And I thought that once my technical skills were high enough, everything else would fall into place. But it didn't. My work was technically dense, but it didn't communicate very well. I kept watching opportunities go to artists who knew less software but understood the fundamentals that I'd ignored. So if you're early in 3D or your skills are solid but your progress feels slow or unclear, then this video is simply what I wish someone had explained to me earlier. Before we dive in, this isn't just theory, it's the same as we use inside a Future-Proof 3D Artist, where myself and mentors work with you to build a sustainable career around their 3D skills. Tip 1, design fundamentals matter more than software. So the biggest mistake I made was prioritizing the tool over the taste. So when I started, I was obsessed with advanced setups and I'd spend hours perfecting lighting, tweaking render settings and stacking render passes. I had a client that rejected a project that I thought was solid, and it wasn't because of the realism, but it was because I was trying to solve a design problem with technical effort. And that's when something clicked for me. If an image doesn't communicate clearly, then no amount of technical polish will save it. So the lesson here was simple. Composition, lighting, scale, and reference matter much more than the buttons. So you can know 10% of Blender or Cinema 4D, but if you understand the golden ratio and color theory, then you're going to destroy someone who knows 100% of the software but has no design sense. So stop trying to be a software encyclopedia and start being a designer. So this brings us on to the second hard lesson: context beats realism. There is a massive obsession in the 3D community with photorealism. We are obsessed with imperfections, dust, scratches, and fingerprints. We think realism equals good, but there is no correct look. There is only the look that fits the job. If I'm doing moody interior renders for a high-end architecture firm, they might want soft shadows, atmosphere, and maybe even a bit of grain on the image. They're looking for a feeling. But if I'm doing a product launch for a tech company, they don't want mood, they want clinical perfection, they want the product to look cleaner than reality. So I thought that realism was the goal when the client was actually playing for clarity. Decide the intent and then the style follows. So don't touch a single button until you know why you're making the image. Are you selling the mood or are you selling the product specs? Third tip is what separates amateurs from pros, so guide the viewer's eye. And the old me used to think that the client wants to explore the image, so I'd pack the frame with cool assets I found online. I'd put like a cool car in the background and a tree in the corner and a character jumping in the middle. And I thought that I was adding value, but I weren't. I was just adding cognitive load. So clients don't want to explore your image, they want clarity. And when a client looks at the render, they should know exactly where to look within half a second. And if they have to search for the subject, then you failed. The light, contrast, and camera positioning should tell the viewer where to look instantly. If your lighting's flat, then everything looks important, which means nothing is important. So use shadows to hide what doesn't matter. Use contrast to highlight what does. You are the director, you're not just the cameraman, so direct the eye. So this connects to the next point: not everything needs detail. My early mistake was adding complexity everywhere, and I remember modeling this coffee cup that was going to sit on a desk in the background, and I spent hours modeling it, and I added displacement, and I had steam coming off the coffee cup, and then in the final render, this cup was like 10 pixels wide, and it was blurred by depth of field, so I'd wasted hours, and even worse, the scene took longer to render because of the displacement. So complexity slows you down and it actually weakens the image, it creates more visual noise. So emphasize what matters and let the rest stay quiet. Professional 3D is about resource management, both your computer's resources and your own time. And if it's not the hero of the shot, then it doesn't need to be a hero asset. This took me a long time to learn. Career progress isn't really about talent in the way most people think. I've worked alongside artists who are technically far better than me, but the successful artists weren't selling talent, they were selling reliability. And what consistently made the difference wasn't motivation or inspiration, it was having repeatable ways of working. So systems beat motivation, and this shift happened for me when I focused on three things: my portfolio, having clear positioning, so solving a specific problem for a specific client, and then making sure I had a repeatable workflow, so having a process that ensured I delivered on time every time. Clients don't just pay for art, they pay for results delivered without a headache. When you look at all these ideas, design fundamentals, context, clarity, simplicity, and systems, none of them are about the software, they're about how you approach the work. And if you're good at 3D but feeling stuck, or if things feel inconsistent, it's not usually because you need another tool, it's because the surrounding structure isn't there yet. And if you want help working through this with feedback and accountability, that's what Future-Proof 3D Artist is for. It's a guided way to put structure around your skills you already have, so this isn't a magic shortcut. I didn't need more tutorials, I needed clearer thinking about what actually mattered. So if you want to explore this further, there is a link below, and thanks for watching.